My name is Sarah Mineiro. I'm a rocket scientist and an artist. So I look at my career in national security and my passion for painting as the same thing. I think both of them express my artistic ability about how I approach life, how I approach problems, how I problem solve, how I build teams, and how I like to see the world. And whether it's national security challenges or attacking a canvas, I approach them in the same way. Yeah, so a lot of my subject matter is very much inspired by math, which I believe is kind of a universal language, science, and specifically space, astronomy, all of the kind of natural phenomena that is swirling around us at all times that sometimes we don't even realize. But that is a really essential part of each one of us as humans. So the painting behind me is inspired by the false color images that you would see coming out from NASA, from the big kind of space telescopes about what's out there in the universe. You know, the human eye can only see a very small part of that spectra, and quite frankly, the rest of the spectrum really requires a tremendous amount of science for humans to be able to perceive it. And the other way that you can perceive the enormity of everything that's going on in the universe, quite frankly, is by connecting through art. And so that's what I do. One of the funnest things that I've ever done is collaborate and create art with unexpected people. And there's lots of them in the national security arena, in the space arena. I think so many of us are inspired by what we see around us and also are really looking for creative outlets. I've collaborated in visual arts with people from the White House to the Department of Defense who are like closet painters and quite skilled, actually. And that's great when you can get together and you can talk about and bond over things that aren't just work related, but are related to who you are as a person and who you want to be as an artist. I think there is no doubt that personal experiences inform all of your artistic expression. And whether you want that to be very literal or more abstract in how you render it, there's no doubt that the first stroke of paint that you lay down on a canvas is an act of bravery. I'm working on a piece right now that is based off of a self-portrait, and it's a self-portrait that I took right when I shaved all my hair off because I knew I was going to go in for chemotherapy because I had breast cancer. And I knew I was going to lose my hair. And they say a woman's hair is their crowning glory, but you best believe I just shaved all that off and donated it. And I took this picture of myself looking down at this camera, and I looked like a badass. But it was a scary, scary time in my life. I was under the age of 40, I had aggressive breast cancer. I have young children, I had a career that was just starting to really take off, and all of that needed to be put on hold for me being able to survive a pretty aggressive cancer treatment. Maybe a decade or two before that, I was traveling, actually for some space nerdy stuff, and it took me to India. And India was a fascinating place. And this gentleman came up to me and he said to me, "You have beautiful eyes, like fish." And I have no idea if that was a compliment or not, but it stuck with me. And so now this piece that I'm working on is actually my self-portrait of myself right before I go through chemotherapy with these fish eyes that I've had this imagery of for at least 15 years. And it's a real full circle moment where, you know, both of these things are going to come together in a really surreal but hopefully beautifully rendered piece that will mean a lot to me. And so there's no doubt that, You know, every painting is an act of bravery. Every self-portrait, I think, a self-portrait is one of the bravest things you can choose to paint. A self-portrait where you're really unsure about whether you're going to be alive in the next 9 months is a real thing of bravery. And so we'll see, but it's a lot of fun.